The exodus begins. The Veltar collective ship appeared on the Meridian's view screen like a massive crystal cathedral drifting through space. Its once brilliant faceted surfaces were now dull and cracked, with only faint traces of the energy patterns that should have been dancing across its hull. Elena had seen Veltar vessels before, but never one so dark and lifeless. Life signs? She asked Dr. Chun, who was scanning the alien vessel with their medical sensors. Difficult to determine with energy-based life forms, Marcus replied, adjusting his instruments. But I'm detecting approximately 300 individual energy signatures. That's down from the normal complement of 2,000. Elena felt her heart sink. In just the few hours it had taken them to reach the collective, the Veltar had lost even more of their people. She opened a communication channel to the dying ship. Echo of distant thunder. This is Captain Vasquez. We're preparing to dock with your vessel. Can you guide us to a safe docking port? The response came as a weak harmonic that the ship's computers struggled to translate. Captain Vasquez, you should not come aboard. The Gray Death may spread to your people. We do not wish to be responsible for humanity's extinction. Let us worry about that, Elena replied firmly. We're here to help, and we're not leaving until we understand what's happening to you. As the Meridian's docking clamps engaged with the Veltar ship, Elena suited up in full environmental protection gear. Marcus had insisted on taking every precaution, even if they were immune to the disease. Tom Bradley and 2 other crew members joined them, carrying portable life support equipment and emergency medical supplies. The airlock opened to reveal a corridor lined with crystal formations that should have been pulsing with vibrant energy. Instead, they were gray and lifeless, like dead coral on an ancient reef. The air itself felt heavy and oppressive, despite the environmental readings showing normal atmospheric conditions. Echo of distant thunder materialized before them. His energy form barely visible as a faint outline in the dim light. Captain Vasquez, I am grateful for your courage, but I fear it may be misplaced. The Gray Death has taken our brightest minds, our strongest leaders. We are dying, and we do not know why. Elena stepped forward, her voice gentle but determined. Then let's figure it out together. Dr. Chun here is one of the best medical researchers in human space. If there's a way to understand this disease, he'll find it. Over the next several hours, Marcus worked tirelessly to analyze the Gray Death's effects on the Veltar. He discovered that the disease somehow disrupted the quantum fields that allowed the energy beings to maintain their consciousness. It was like a virus that attacked the very essence of their existence. Captain, Marcus said through their private communication channel, this isn't a natural disease. The quantum disruption patterns are too precise, too targeted. Someone engineered this. Elena felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold corridors of the dying ship. Are you saying this is a biological weapon? I'm saying this is worse than a biological weapon. This is a consciousness killer, designed specifically to target non-human life forms. And the fact that humans are immune suggests we were meant to survive. Before Elena could respond, Zara's voice crackled through the communicator. Captain, I'm receiving multiple distress signals from across the sector. The Kethani colony on Meridian 7 is requesting evacuation. They say they have children who haven't been infected yet. Elena's mind raced. If the Gray Death was indeed an engineered weapon, then the clock was ticking for every alien species in the galaxy. The Federation's quarantine protocols weren't just abandonment. They were a death sentence. Marcus, how long do we have before the Veltar collective is completely lost? At the current rate of decline, maybe 18 hours. But Captain, I think I can synthesize a temporary treatment. It won't cure them, but it might slow the progression long enough for us to evacuate the survivors. Elena nodded, making a decision that would change everything. Do it. Zara, contact every human vessel within 10 light years. Tell them we need immediate assistance for evacuation operations. And send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we're declaring a humanitarian emergency. Captain, Tom Bradley's voice came through the comm system. The Federation is broadcasting warnings about human vessels approaching quarantine systems. They're threatening to classify us as rogue elements. Let them, Elena replied. We have a choice to make. We can follow Federation orders and watch entire civilizations die, or we can do what's right and save who we can. The next 24 hours became a blur of rescue operations. The Meridian was joined by 6 other human vessels, including the massive colony transport New Horizon, which had been en route to establish a new human settlement. Captain Sarah Chun, Marcus's sister, had volunteered to convert her ship into a mobile refugee center. They evacuated the surviving Veltar from their dying collective, using Marcus's temporary treatment to stabilize them during transport. The energy beings were placed in specially modified containment fields that mimicked their natural crystal matrices, giving them a chance to survive while maintaining their consciousness. The rescue of the Cathani colony was more complex. The insectoid beings were in various stages of infection, with the younger members of the species showing more resistance to the Grey Death. Elena watched as human medics worked alongside Cathani healers, sharing knowledge and techniques across species barriers that had once seemed insurmountable. Captain Vasquez, chittered Elder Kethler, one of the senior Cathani, who had managed to avoid infection. Your species risks much to help us. Why do you do this when your own Federation abandons us? Elena looked at the ancient insectoid, whose compound eyes reflected the lights of the medical bay where human doctors were treating Cathani children. Because it's the right thing to do. Because every life has value, regardless of species. And because someone has to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. As the refugee fleet grew to include survivors from a dozen different species, Elena began to understand the scope of what they were facing. The Grey Death wasn't just a plague, it was a systematic extermination of non-human life. And humanity, through some twist of fate or design, was the only species capable of stopping it. Dr. Chun's research had revealed disturbing patterns in the disease's genetic targeting. It seemed designed to recognize and attack specific biological and quantum signatures that were common to all known alien species, while leaving human DNA completely unaffected. The implications were terrifying. Captain, Marcus said during one of their strategy meetings, I've been analyzing data from all the affected species. The Grey Death doesn't just kill, it learns. Each time it encounters a new species, it adapts to overcome their natural defenses. This suggests a level of artificial intelligence that's beyond anything we've seen before. Elena stared at the star charts, showing the spread of the disease across the galaxy. Red zones marked infected systems, while blue zones showed human colonies that remained untouched. The pattern was too precise to be coincidental. Someone wanted this to happen, she said quietly. Someone with access to genetic information from every species in the galaxy. Someone who could engineer a weapon that would spare only humans. Zara looked up from her communication station, her face pale. Captain, I'm intercepting Federation military communications. They're mobilizing a fleet to stop our rescue operations. They're calling us a threat to galactic security. Elena felt the weight of leadership settling on her shoulders. In trying to save alien lives, humanity was about to become an enemy of the very government they had helped establish. But looking around at the bridge of the Meridian, seeing humans and aliens working together with a determination she had never witnessed before, Elena knew they had chosen the right path. Send a message to all human vessels, she commanded. Tell them we're not just rescuing refugees anymore. We're building something new. A coalition of species who refuse to let fear and prejudice determine who lives and who dies. As the fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, heading for a hidden asteroid field where they could establish a temporary base, Elena looked out at the stars and wondered what kind of galaxy they would find when this was all over. The Federation had abandoned the innocent, but humanity had chosen to stand with them. The real war was just beginning. Asterisk. The silent plague captain Elena Vasquez pressed her palm against the cold metal wall of the cargo hold, feeling the gentle vibration of the ship's engines. The Meridian had been her home for 12 years, carrying supplies between human colonies and the Outer Rim trading posts. She never expected to witness the galaxy's darkest hour from the cockpit of a simple freight hauler. The bridge hummed with nervous energy as her crew monitored the communications array. Dr. Marcus Chon, their ship's medical officer, sat hunched over his scanner, his weathered face creased with worry. At 38, Marcus had seen his share of diseases during his service with the Colonial Medical Corps, but nothing had prepared him for what they were witnessing now. "Captain, I'm picking up another distress signal," announced Zara Okafor. From the communications station, the young Nigerian woman's voice carried a tremor that Elena had never heard before. "It's from the Altair station. They're reporting complete system failure." Elena moved to the main display, watching as the tactical screen showed dozens of red warning markers scattered across the sector. Each marker represented a world, a station, or a ship that had gone silent in the past 3 weeks. A pattern was spreading faster than any natural disaster she could imagine. "What's the status of the Kefani homeworld?" Elena asked, though she dreaded the answer. Marcus looked up from his instruments, his brown eyes reflecting the blue glow of the scanner. "No response for 48 hours. The automated beacons are still broadcasting, but there's no sign of organized activity. Population centers that once housed millions are now completely dark." The Kefani had been humanity's first alien trading partners, insectoid beings with compound eyes and 4 arms that could perform complex tasks with incredible precision. Their homeworld, Kethara, had been a bustling center of commerce and culture. The thought of those gentle beings suffering and dying in silence made Elena's stomach clench. Zara's console chimed with an incoming transmission. "Captain, I'm receiving a weak signal from a Veltar Energy Collective. They're requesting immediate assistance." The Veltar were beings of pure energy who inhabited crystalline structures. They communicated through harmonic frequencies that human technology could barely interpret. For them to send a distress call using conventional methods meant their situation was desperate. "Put them through," Elena ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing a translucent figure surrounded by crackling energy fields. The Veltar's usual bright golden glow had dimmed to a sickly pale yellow, and their energy patterns were chaotic and unstable. "Human vessel," the being's voice came through as a series of musical tones that the ship's computer translated into words. "I am echo of distant thunder. Our collective is dying. The gray death spreads through our energy matrices like poison. We have lost 60% of our population. Please, if you have any compassion, help us." Elena felt her heart break. The Veltar were ancient beings, older than human civilization, and they had always been proud and self-sufficient. For them to beg for help meant they were facing extinction. "Echo of distant thunder, this is Captain Elena Vasquez of the human vessel Meridian. We will do everything in our power to assist you. Can you tell us more about this gray death?" The Veltar's energy patterns flickered with what Elena recognized as confusion. "The sickness appears without warning. It drains our life force, turning our energy patterns gray and lifeless. We have no defense against it. The Galactic Federation has declared our worlds quarantined, but they offer no aid. They say the risk is too great." Marcus leaned forward, his medical training taking over. "Captain, I need to examine infected individuals to understand this disease. If it's affecting both organic and energy-based life forms, this could be something we've never encountered before. Elena nodded, but her mind was racing. The Galactic Federation's response troubled her. In her experience, the Federation always sent medical teams to assist with planetary emergencies. Their decision to quarantine entire star systems without offering help seemed wrong, even cowardly. Zara, contact the nearest Federation medical station. Tell them we're requesting permission to provide humanitarian aid to affected worlds. Within minutes, Zara received a response that made her face pale. Captain, the Federation is ordering all non-essential vessels to maintain a minimum distance of 5 light-years from infected systems. They're classifying this as a Code Black biological hazard. Code Black? Marcus frowned. That's reserved for extinction-level threats. What aren't they telling us? Elena's jaw tightened. She had served briefly in the Earth Defense Force before becoming a merchant captain, and she knew that Code Black protocols were only used when the threat was considered too dangerous for any intervention. But the Federation's response felt like abandonment rather than caution. The communication with Echo of Distant Thunder was still active, and the Veltar S energy patterns were growing weaker. Human Captain, will you help us? We understand if you cannot. We do not wish to spread this curse to your people. Elena looked around her bridge at her crew. Marcus was checking his medical databases, searching for any information about the Grey Death. Zara was monitoring Federation communications, her face grim as she listened to the official reports. Her chief engineer, Tom Bradley, had joined them. From the engine room, his coveralls stained with grease, but his eyes sharp with concern. Captain, Tom said quietly, I've been listening to the chatter on the engineering frequencies. The word is that this disease affects every known alien species, but there hasn't been a single reported case among humans. Not one. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. What are you saying? I'm saying that maybe we're immune. Maybe we're the only ones who can help. Marcus looked up from his scanner, his expression thoughtful. It would explain why the Federation wants us to stay away. If we're immune, we could be the key to understanding this disease. Or we could be carriers without knowing it. Elena stared at the image of Echo of Distant Thunder, watching as the ancient being's energy patterns continued to fade. Around them, the galaxy was dying, and the powers that be were content to let it happen. But humans had never been content to stand by and watch suffering without acting. Zara, send a message to Echo of Distant Thunder. Tell them we're coming to help. Then contact the human merchant fleet and any Earth vessels in the area. If we're immune to this disease, then we have a responsibility to act. Tom grinned, the first smile Elena had seen on her ship in days. Now that's the captain I know. What are your orders? Elena turned to face her crew, feeling the weight of decisions settling on her shoulders. We're going to do what humans do best. We're going to help those who can't help themselves, even if the whole galaxy tells us not to. As the Meridian changed course toward the dying Veltar collective, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to become part of something much larger than a simple rescue mission. The Grey Death was spreading. The Federation was turning its back on entire civilizations, and humanity was about to step into a role they had never asked for, the role of protector to the abandoned. Asterisk.